I'm seeing a lot of people hate on The Boys ending, and I'm going to be honest with you, I completely disagree, and I thought that The Boys ending was brilliant. Now, was it perfect? No, it absolutely wasn't perfect. There's some nitpicks that I agree with the haters on when it comes to the finale of The Boys. But overall, I am satisfied with the outcome of the story. So you know what? We're going to delve straight into the deep end. And that is not a reference, that is not a pun to The Deep, even though we will get along to him at some point. It's, of course, the main talking point of the entire show, pretty much. And that is Homelander. So, of course, we're going to be talking about Homelander's death because me personally, I thought they nailed it to a fucking T. And even though I feel this way, I've seen so many people hating on the way that Homelander goes out because he's begging and they think it's an aura loss and it's pathetic. That is the entire fucking point of his death. Like, have we been watching the same show by any means? Like, I don't understand some of you people hating on this. I can understand some nitpicks. This one, I do not understand whatsoever. It makes so much sense that Homelander, after losing his powers, finally, after all this time, loses his powers, becomes so desperate and pathetic and begging and pleading for his life. It makes so much sense that that is his character. Because Homelander throughout this entire show has always been scared of being considered a human, and he's never wanted to just be a human. Of course, at the end, he wants to be fucking God, for goodness sake, and actually believes it. You know, so now that he is a human, he starts to panic because everything that he didn't want to be, he now is. So he's going to start panicking and therefore start pleading for his life and getting desperate, etc., etc. It made so much sense, and I don't understand how people are hating on this. And then the fight itself, I really enjoyed. Like, I thought it was a good pace. I like some of the action sequences we got in this fight, and I feel like when it came to The Boys in general, they always nailed it when it come to fight scenes. Now, I will agree that if you want to say that the fight didn't go on long enough, okay, I can kind of get that. I can kind of agree with that. But ultimately, I thought it was still a very entertaining fight scene. And then, of course, the death itself, just chucking a crowbar into his fucking head and opening it like it's a box. I loved it, and it was brutal, and it was absolutely sensational. But even though I'm going to be doing some heavy glazing in this video, I also just want to give my first nitpick. There's a couple more, but my first nitpick, and I haven't seen many people talk about this. Why did they fuck Marie off? Is that not just a sign of bad writing? Like, you're telling me Marie in Gen V Season 2, spoilers by the way, so if you haven't watched Gen V Season 2 and you plan on it at some point, skip. But right now, yeah, fucking Marie in Gen V Season 2, she fucks up, I forgot the guy's name, I forgot his name, but the guy comes back, he's super OP, and she fucks him up, and she's got this OP power, and it's getting built up for ages that Marie, she could be the one to dethrone Homelander. And what do? Yeah, can you just send all these people to Canada? Can you just be a glorified Uber driver, please, and just fuck these lot off to Canada? Oh no, we couldn't take Marie. You know, I love Mother's Milk, but who's going to be more useful in a fucking fight, Mother's Milk or Marie? Let's just be fucking honest, you know? Like, I just didn't really understand this, and it did grind my gears, because it's just like, Gen V's cancelled now, and what was the fucking point? What was the point? So yeah, I hated this. Okay, but now we'll go to some positivity again, and that is the conclusion of The Deep. We're going to go through a couple of the deaths now. So The Deep also suddenly passed away when a squid or an octopus, sorry I got it wrong, I am assuming went up his arsehole and out through his mouth, because how else could that pierce his skin when he's got bulletproof skin? You know what I mean? So I'm assuming it's gone up somewhere and it came out his mouth. And I actually thought this was very satisfying for The Deep. I know there's a lot of things going out recently, like, how's The Deep made it so far? Black Noir's gone, fucking A-Train's gone, you know, all this stuff, but The Deep's still surviving. And I defended The Deep because I was like, hey man, comedic characters can still go a long way. Just because you're in the finale, you know, weak characters can still make it to the finale, for goodness sake. And I didn't mind The Deep getting that far, but I thought they made sense with it. Made a lot of sense. It was a very satisfying death for The Deep. He gets taken out by his own people. Well, it's not his own people, his own creatures. You know, the people are part of his powers, where, you know, just sea creatures. And it was something he didn't actually do, which I found really funny as well. Like, all the dog shit things and piece of shit things that the Deep's ever done, and it's for something he didn't even do. I find that really funny, and I liked how he went out. It was, brutal, it was horrible, and it was well deserved. And then let's go and talk about another death, not the big death, which is Butcher, but we'll go talk about O-Father. And I actually thought O-Father was a great addition to the season as a whole, but we're only going to talk about the finale. I thought his death was creative. I liked it. It caught me off guard. I've seen some people hating on this, saying, well, actually, Mother's Milk didn't actually wrap it around his head, so he should still survive. And if it's just Mother's Milk holding it, it should blow up his arms. I'm like, oh my fucking God, guys. Let's just chill out a bit. I understand you want it to be realistic, so it's just a cool death. You know what I mean? Unexpected. You wouldn't have been able to have guessed that in a million years. I liked it, and I thought O-Father was brilliant as well. Really liked him this season, and yeah, I like the death for him as well. But if we're going to keep talking about deaths, we've got to talk about Butcher now. This one's a hit and miss one for me, because I love how it played out. I love how it played out of him and Huey, and, it was like, what I like about it the most, which I don't know if people have picked up on, but this is how I viewed it. Butcher was about to pull the trigger for the virus. Obviously, he saw the vision of Lenny, so he stopped him, and then Huey shot him anyway. So he could have made an argument, oh, well, I was never going to press it or anything like that. And that would have fucked up Huey, because it would have been like, oh, yeah, I wasn't going to press it anyway, mate. I changed my mind. And then Huey would have been, oh, fuck, I've just killed you, and you changed your mind. Like, oh, no. He would have been so distraught about it. But Butcher, he's like, no, mate, it was never going to change, but I was always going to press that button. And I feel like I think there was an element of truth to that, obviously, considering what we've seen from Butcher throughout the entire show. But I also feel like that was to help Huey not be so distraught that he just fucking killed Butcher. If he had told Huey, oh, I was about to change my mind, Huey would have been he would have been in pieces. But of course, the negative part about this whole Butcher death is that even though I enjoyed the conclusion of it, it was nice, like on an emotional level, it was nice, it got you feeling something. It was very, 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 very rushed. I mean, from in a span of 5 minutes, you go from him saying, oh, Oi, Ryan, we're gonna fucking me, you, and Terror, eh? You know what I mean? And then 5 minutes later, he's been shot by Huey. It felt very rushed. It felt really crammed into this 1 hour, 5 minute time. It could have got fleshed out a lot more, in my opinion. It went from, he was happy to settle down with Ryan 5 minutes ago. Ryan tells him fuck off. Terror ends up being fucking dead. Rest in peace to the dog, by the way. Big one, that one. And then he gets into the Vault Tower by just taking out 2 guards. Okay. Makes a lot of sense. That does. Fair enough. Huey also gets in very easily as well. They're both just in there. Apparently no one else is there, apparently. And it just felt really rushed. And that's like my main problem with a lot of things in this finale. Some things just felt a lot of rushed. Like the fight scene itself, you could argue, was rushed. I mean, even like Starlight and the Deep, even though that was never going to be anything crazy in all fairness, that felt maybe a tad bit rushed. Frenchie's funeral, that could have got fleshed out a bit more, but we just didn't have fucking time. So, yeah, I thought that was a bit of a nitpick, and it's quite a justified one in my opinion. But now we're going to move on to, the main reason why I'm really satisfied with the ending of The Boys, because I like the conclusions of most characters. Butcher's now gone. He was able to achieve everything he wanted, but in the end, he had nothing else to live for because Ryan had fucked off, Terror was gone, so he had nothing left. So, I like that Butcher had nothing left. He gave it his all. He achieved what he wanted, but ultimately had nothing left. Therefore, he's a goner. You then had Homelander. He's been this prick this entire fucking time, an absolutely disgusting person. He got the ending that was coming his way from season 1. Huey and Starlight are together. Have that fucking shop together. Still looks like they're fighting off crime to a degree. He was able to turn down the fucking president. I liked that for Huey and Starlight. Oh, and obviously Starlight's pregnant as well, which is a big one. Named the kid Robin, which I thought was a bit weird at first. But I was like, okay, this is it makes sense, because if it wasn't for Robin, none of this would have happened. And if it wasn't for Robin, Starlight/Annie would have never have met Huey. So I guess I'll let you off, but it is still a bit odd to an extent. You had Mother's Milk, who looks like he's going to be looking after Ryan now. I wish that was a bit explained as well. It looks like he's going to be looking after him, but Mother's Milk Milk, you know, gets to be with his wife and his kid and looking after Ryan. And Ryan's in good hands, man. Like, that's a great outcome for Ryan, really, when you think about it. I don't think that's much thought has gone into that, but like, Ryan has a great outcome. He's getting raised by Mother's Milk, who's a great person, you know? So I think that's a great outcome as well. Kimiko's outcome is it's a bit shit, but like, I mean, yeah, okay, I can't even defend it too much. I mean, I understand it makes sense. Someone's gonna have a bit of a sad outcome, I suppose, but yeah, she's no longer full of rage. I liked that scene, by the way, like where Frenchie gets involved, and we saw Kimiko go from always fucking angry and like a steroid head, and she's just always pissed off, to now she had no rage. I was like, oh, that's really nice. I really like that character development. And then who else was it who had an outcome as well? Well, Ashley's in prison, so. While in Ashley, Sage is now stupid as fuck, and she's like us regular people, so fair play to Sage, and that's what she wanted. So yeah, Soldier Boy's outcome, I know that's not a part of the finale, but fuck that outcome. That is dog shit. I won't give it dock points for finale, but still, dog shit. Marie's in Canada. She's loving it in Canada with all the other ones. So yeah, I really enjoyed the outcome obviously for the main characters of this show. I thought it was a good episode. Do I think it's the best finale in the show? Probably not. Maybe like third or something, somewhere around there. But I still thought the finale was really good. It was a satisfying finale for a not so satisfying final season, but I'll talk about that in another video. But let me know in the comments, what did you not like about the finale? What did you love about the finale? What are you a bit hit and miss about? What do you wish got answered? Just let me know your thoughts about the finale. Thank you for watching the video, and I'll see you in the next one.